Among Us is a hidden role survival game for 4 to 10 players. For those of you familiar with similar traitor style games, Among Us can be thought of as a blend between Werewolf and Deceit. In a game, 1 to 3 players will be imposters, whose job it is to kill all other crew members without being caught, while crew members must perform repairs and tasks across the map. Whenever a body is found, the game stops and everyone votes to kill one person. Players talk, discuss evidence, and exchange alibis as they must figure out the imposters between them.
Oh. Liam.
Nice one. I knew that was
Navigation.
No, I did see him in navigation, but I don't know if he hanged
Guess
around
who was
there.
also at navigation, Oliver?
Oh. And that's it. You could stop right now and figure out the rest of it by playing this game, and just quietly, I recommend you do. It's free on the App Store, is relatively cheap on Steam and itch.io, and has crossplay between all of its platforms. Mind you, don't play public matches unless you really want to gain a new hatred for the human condition. Private matches with friends all in the same Discord are really where this game shines. Rope in a few of your mates through promises of just a game or two on your phone and watch them be completely absorbed in it. This game is the best short strategic experience out there and nothing less than a fantastic time. So, let this video be a bit of a guide and recommendation for this game. You can skip to specific areas down below, but I'm going over this whole thing top to bottom. For now, I'll just mention that there is a Discord server in the pinned comments for those who'd like to join us in playing, because I think we'll never not be playing this, at least until Among Us 2 arrives. I said Among Us is like Deceit, but I think I best stress that again because those familiar with that game will be right at home here. It's a hidden role game where the minority team knows its members, but the majority doesn't. So as crew members, it's your job to suss out people and work out what's really happening. Fortunately, however, thanks to your numbers, you have plenty of people that will tell the truth and plenty of eyes to see suspicious behavior. The major difference in this game is that you can't verbally communicate with people outside of meetings, so make sure you remember everything to talk about later. The 2 ways to win as a crew member is to either execute all the imposters or completing all of your tasks as a group. You can only execute someone when an emergency meeting is called by a player or when a body is found, so for the most part everyone should be doing their tasks. Tasks come in a variety of types, difficulties and lengths. Some require you to simply swipe a card, while others require you to do multiple repairs across the map, so keep a little eye on your tasks and plan a route accordingly. It's quite unlikely that you'll win by completing all your tasks, but doing these puts pressure on the imposters to act, which probably means that they will make a mistake, so be sure to complete them. Even dead people still have tasks, so get your jobs done. Every once in a while, a system will be sabotaged. As a crew, it's your job to stop them or repair them similar to your tasks. While some of these will just disable certain features making it harder for you, others will result in an imposter win if not taken care of within the time limit. Be cautious though, as they are most often used to split up groups of people. When you go to repair these systems, be wary or at least on your guard. Whenever you see a body, you can report it, stopping the game, bringing everyone to the same place and being able to vote to execute a player. Here is where you will discuss your evidence and exchange alibis, and if you're playing with a Discord or some voice chat program, this is where you would unmute yourself if you are alive. Only a plurality is needed to vote someone out, meaning whoever has the most votes will be killed, not a majority. If either a tie has occurred or people have voted to skip, no one will be executed. There will be some games where you have to just take a shot in the dark and vote out whoever is the most suspicious. At the same time, don't go executing people who are only a little suspicious and lose a vote for your team. Strike a balance between the two and use logical reasoning to find imposters. As an imposter, it's your goal to start culling the number of players to where you can either pull off a successful essential sabotage or equal the number of crew members left. You have the ability to instantly kill people, albeit on a cooldown, and can travel through the vents or holes in the map. You know who your other teammates are and have to sort of coordinate your movements in order to guarantee success. Killing people isn't the hard bit in this game, however, it's getting away with it that is what really matters. Whenever a dead body is found, a meeting is held to decide if someone should be executed. Remember that this vote is a plurality, meaning whoever has the most votes will be killed, they don't need a majority, meaning that you can use confusion and deception to get these votes to swing your way. You rely on chaos and pandemonium as opposed to calm and carefully reasoned argument. Where the crew members must prove or disprove the alibis of others, you must try to counteract this without being called out for it. You must be the puppet master, influencing conversation without anyone knowing, lest you become the subject of conversation. At any rate, try to delay the conversation as the vote just may run out of time. Just as I said before, the map's vents are available to you. They allow for easy transportation and a hiding place, however you don't reduce your kill cooldown when you're in them. Crew members are aware of this as well, so be careful with your vent usage. Appearing at some place without anyone seeing you walk in or out pretty much spells disaster, especially with the use of security systems. To help you blend in, the game will give you tasks to complete. However, you can't actually play these minigames, so you have to pretend like you are. This is especially annoying because some activities are noticeable by other players, medbay being the most obvious example, so avoid doing those activities, and if you must claim you did them, say a dead person saw you doing them. Killing confirmed people in this game is a pretty good move, as your game will become infinitely more hard where only few remain and one of them is confirmed. I'll touch on this all however a bit later. In short, stay hidden, shift blame, kill those who stand in your way. It's simple, but the way you choose to do this isn't. Once you become more comfortable with this role, start to use better strategies and tactics. Game sense is the #1 thing you need, so be sure to use it. A lot of Among Us is all about working out a timeline of events and exposing people's claims and alibis. Let's watch an example of this in effect. Where was it?
The corpse was in communications.
Yeah, and you couldn't have killed him as well because
I literally just opened
I
the
was
door
following
and walked
behind
in.
him.
Okay. I'm so suspicious of you, Liam. Just saying.
Why is that?
You've just been following me the whole game. I've got the feeling that you've been
I
trying to kill me.
haven't been following you. What?
You have. No. I'm running. I'm so running right now. No.
I went around to do specimens.
Wait, tell me what exactly you've been this whole game, Liam.
I did specimens in the laboratory, and then I think it was uploading the data to the main thing. I haven't been doing
anything
much
else?
because I've been looking at cameras mostly this game.
Anything else?
What? No, I've just been doing like the No, it's wrong!
But yeah, this game is all about finding the lies other people are telling. Use what people are saying and weaponize it into evidence. Excessive use of admin and cameras also can't hurt. Most of this you just get a knack for, so play the game for yourself. The Skeld is the first map of 3, taking place on a spaceship. It's a relative medium size, with the map being divisible into 3 main areas of left, middle and right. The Skeld has many rooms that only contain one exit, with most of these rooms needing to be entered in order to complete tasks, making it very difficult for crew members to invade imposters if followed in. Imposters on this map can also impose lockdown on certain rooms to stop them from entering or moving, which is very good for cornering players. Important rooms on this map include admin and security, both used for tracking the location of players. Communications, electrical, O2 and reactor are all subject to sabotage from imposters with differing levels of importance. One thing to mention, however, is the vent system, as not all vents connect to each other, they are in certain zones. For example, if you take the electrical vent, you can move to security or medbay, but that's it. The top of navigation only connects to weapons, with the bottom connecting to shields. This means that imposters are relatively limited in mobility and just have to walk for the most part. This is pretty great for the crew, as most of your evidence on this map will be simple. I saw them leave the room and I found a body in it, or they were in a room which has a vent that connects to the dead person's location. Alibis play a large role, so try and have a few people that can confirm where you are or were, even for crew members. The Skeld is best suited for games with few people, as the other maps are either big or just take time to move around. Bodies in this map will be found relatively quickly if left in the open. As a side note, however, I find that murders often occur in electrical, as if performed in the top corner, the body is hardly ever found, although this may be dependent on your group. Imposters should try avoid killing in the cafeteria, admin, and storage, as those areas are very high in player traffic, and many longer tasks require players to move through there anyway. On the flip side, getting away with a murder there means that alibis become very hard to justify, unless someone is in security. It's very risky and very rewarding, so assess the situation and act accordingly. MIRA HQ is the smallest and most confined of all the maps. It offers a unique security system and the ability for imposters to move anywhere from any vent. However, there are no doors to lock down. MIRA HQ is split into 4 main areas, at least that's what I call them: North, Southeast, Southwest, and Reactor and Lab. The most important thing for players is to remember on this map is probably its intersection. Players will have to move through here all the time, and security on this map is a log containing information of when players move through there. You can catch players out who are using the vent system by analysing this log, although it only contains so many entries. In combination with testimony, however, it's pretty damn effective. Getting from southeast up to reactor and laboratory requires you to go through an airlock known as decontamination. As you can imagine, going through this airlock takes a few seconds and is one way while in use. A fair few murders will happen in here, so be careful travelling through. Another place that's a more hidden death will occur is at the launch pad, as one of the tasks requires you to activate a panel and come back later, similar to the medbay sample. As an imposter, pay attention to anyone who interacts with this panel and don't be afraid to vent over there and get a sneaky kill. Also, on this map, the only task that is visual and will confirm a crew member is medbay scan, so imposters, if you have to get out of a situation, quickly claim that. As mentioned, sabotages are the same on this map except for the removal of doors. However, thanks to everything being somewhat close together, it's pretty easy to react to all of these. However, decontamination exists, so reactor is a bit of a pain. This all comes back to what do the imposters do when they only need to kill one more person, which I'll touch on later, but be sure to react to these as they come up. The only other thing to mention is the second keypad for oxygen. It's down near the starting walkway, which unless you need to go back to launchpad, no one is ever near, so do what you will with that. Thanks to the vent system on this map and some of the really big rooms, it's very easy to pin killings on people for the imposters. Not only with just people accidentally being in the same room, but venting in and killing someone out of range, then discovering the body with another group of your mates is such a good strategy, and may even be great depending on your group. Polus is the final map, being the most expansive and definitely my favourite. Tasks on this planet are far away from one another, so travelling around is going to be your biggest time killer, with all the open exposed areas being perfect for imposters to grab a kill. Including its own decontamination when heading to specimen, Polus is very unique with its layout. It has its own unique security system as well, requiring you to flip through the cameras, and the new station of vitals, telling you when someone has been killed. However, knowing someone is dead sometimes doesn't really matter just due to the size of the map and all the possible locations for the body to be, although situationally it's still a fantastic tool. Polus also features vents, but in the form of holes in the earth, with them being similar to the Skeld as not all are connected. But still, as an imposter, you aren't really constrained to the slow movement like everyone else. Additionally, this map has some changes with its sabotages. Your traditional reactor is placed with seismic stabilizers, although they are functionally indistinguishable. Also, there is no oxygen on this map, and lockdown on doors doesn't automatically finish. A minigame instead must be played in order to open them. As always, using doors to corner people is a smart thing, or to just delay people finding a body works too. The emergency meeting button is found in the office area. This place seems to be pretty safe as it's pretty high traffic and should be used for a bit more safer passage when you can. A few more unique tasks on this map include oxygen, tree, water wheel, and a few others. Like most of the tasks, they are pretty obvious with what you are doing. There are only, however, 2 visible tasks on this map, medbay and weapons, which will confirm people, so look out for these. There are also some tasks which prevent themselves in the dropship, so when beginning, be sure to do those first. Among Us allows you to alter some of the settings in the game. While the recommended settings are good, I suggest you do the following. First, lower the kill range to short. This allows for crew members a bit of wiggle room in avoiding getting caught, but only if they pay attention. Imposters can still close doors and easily prevent people from moving, which is why we think this change works. Increasing the cooldown to at least 40 seconds promotes cleverer gameplay in thinking and killing, making killing off cooldown a little bit harder. This means that the imposters are forced to lie and bluff more often than not, which is the most enjoyable thing about this game. It's not too high, however, so a lazy crew will still be punished. To balance this, bumping the imposter vision to ×2 allows the imposters to plan out and scout people's locations, giving them a nice buff to balance the other changes. And finally, if you are playing with a large group, bumping up the task makes it fairer in our opinion. Due to the more potential witnesses floating about, especially on smaller confined maps, it gives the imposters more time to play with. Ideally, this rule set promotes active discussion in meetings, with many times circumstantial evidence being the only linking factors. It promotes smart plays and good game sense along with lying your teeth out. Adjust these to your own group, however. Now here are just some general tips that I think you should know. As I've alluded to before, the most important thing in this game is that some tasks have visual cues when completing them. These tasks are medbay, garbage, weapons, and shields. Anyone doing one of these tasks are not imposters. As I have mentioned before, if you're being held under suspicion, saying that you have one of these tasks is great. Even if you don't, it's awesome to get out of a bind. Swipe card, scan card, fix wires, submit code, and insert keys are the 5 common tasks in this game. That means that everyone has to do these. Sometimes, if you see someone doing one of these tasks when you don't have them, means that you can confirm them as an imposter. Keep an eye out for them. Having someone to be a confirmed crew member is really bad for an imposter's endgame. Consider this, there are 3 people alive with 1 imposter and 2 confirmed good people. You stand no chance, nothing beats I've seen them do medbay. As a general rule, cull those who are confirmed good, as if you don't, it becomes very easy for the crew to figure you out. Even just having 1 confirmed crew member seeing you act in slight suspicion gets you killed immediately in this game, so try to take them down as soon as you can. On the crew side of things to this, stick with confirmed people. If a murder happens and you've been with them, they can clear your name really easily. Because they are very high priority targets for imposters, if they try to kill them, you can at the very least ensure that that person is now highly suspicious. The best thing about this, however, is the buddy system. Simply put, if 2 people have seen each other do tasks which confirm one another, they should stick together for the rest of the game. If an imposter kills one of them, the other confirmed member can really easily get that imposter taken down. This is the meta, at least in my group of friends, and can only be taken down by 2 coordinated imposters, which, let's be real, doesn't really happen. A lot of this game is just finding out about how your friends play the game and looking out for this, picking up on people's tells and what they normally do. For example, I heavily use doors to corner people and stop people from moving, and claim medbay whenever I'm about to get killed. People now know this, and whenever doors gets locked down, I'm immediately suspected, and medbay scan has now just become a big joke and will get you killed. Knowing what people do in a given role will help you immensely, and knowing what people know what you will do will help you even more. Security is great. Having that extra level of testimony is very powerful, and nothing is more satisfying when catching someone out with it. Whenever anyone is looking at the security cameras, they will flash red. As an imposter, killing whoever is in security is a great idea, as they're normally very unaware. You should typically call an emergency whenever you see someone come out of a vent, or basically can confirm they are bad in some form. However, something to also consider is that calling an emergency resets the kill cooldown for imposters. If the imposters need only 1 more kill and will soon be able to do that, call an emergency. Remember that only a plurality is needed to vote people out in this game, meaning whoever has the most votes dies. You don't need a majority. This means, especially as an imposter, to avoid being voted out and kill a crew member, all you need to do is convince a few people to swing their votes over. This is especially effective if there is no clear target and votes are spread out. You then only need to get 1 or 2 more people to join you. Play the system well, and hopefully you can get things going your way. As an aside, I really hope Among Us 2 explores the voting system a bit more. Blocking votes, having more votes, or having the option to change the type of voting system to like a majority or even preferential voting would be awesome. If you've been found with either a body or are currently in the vents, don't just give up. If you can report that body or hit the emergency button, quickly throw blame onto the other person. Hopefully you can get them voted out and score another point, and naturally you are now going to get killed the next chance everyone gets, so good use of the sabotage system can at the very least delay that. But if you are found out, try and use everything at your disposal and say whatever you can to at least delay them. Every second counts. And finally, this is probably the best advice I can give because I feel like not many people realize this. If you are in a situation with 1 or 2 imposters left, and with 3 or 5 people still alive respectively, you have to vote someone out. If you don't, the imposters can sabotage and prevent you guys from calling an emergency while they charge up their kill ability. If you find yourself in this situation and can't vote, stay far away from each other and try to react to the sabotage as soon as you can. You might just get away with this, but for an imposter who knows what they're doing, you won't. This situation happens all the time and can be even worse if you vote a crew member out at 4 or 6. Because then there is no discussion and you have to call the meeting somehow. Avoid this situation as much as you can. Among Us is a great time for all those who play it. For casual players, it's fun to mess around with friends and work out who done it, while for those wanting a more competitive experience, it allows for smart thinking and game sense to ensure victory. Thanks to its crossplay and low price point, being free on mobile devices, it's an excellent grab as long as you have a few friends to play it with. I haven't expressed my thoughts too much on this video, but I hope the length that I've gone into here really piqued your interest. If you are one of the few people who haven't heard of this game, it's a fantastic time and just something that creates so much fun chaos, so please do check this out. Thank you for watching this. Among Us 2 has just been announced, and just like this video, I'll probably take an in-depth look at it when it does release, so stay tuned. If you wish to join one of these recording sessions, have a look at the Discord below.